Can you hear everything okay? Pretty good. A little bit later than normal. Supposed to be on a call earlier, so just had it scheduled for a bit later. How are you guys doing? Been doing a lot of reflection lately. After really good career in research to go to industry for bucks regarding it for sure. How long ago was that? So how long has that change been in place that you're now regretting? Four months? But I mean, you had something motivated the change in the first place, right? It may have been one of those grass is greener things. Yeah, that happens. What's up, Hashpipe? How are you doing today? Hey, Nick. Can't even tell if you're in Blender or Lantern at this point. So I was waiting on a call that ultimately didn't happen a few minutes ago, and while I was doing it, I took some reference. So I wanted additional points of interest here. Ooh, I gotta fix that. Didn't see that at a distance. Anyways, Ollie had shared this really cool looking. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. Oops. That's not what I wanted. That's not the view I wanted. Let me get out of here. That's easier. Live-ish, trying to keep your head up. I'm doing well, man. Bummed to hear that you're not in the best mood, but it does happen. I was in one of those funks a few weeks ago. Bunks do happen. Seems like we got some bum peeps in here today. Well, good. Not that you're bummed, but good that you're here. We can help each other hang in there. Dantron said, but it's been motivating me to work on stuff I find fun outside of work. Download Neverwinter Nights toolset. Been working on making stuff. That's badass. Yeah, I mean, if the cash is like, you got $3 signs there, which is like bordering on pretty fancy restaurant, right? I think like $2 signs is like okay. 4 is like really good. You got 3. If the dollar signs are good enough, and you can find some stuff to keep you feeling good outside of work, then I don't know, man. Like if I was in that situation, when I'm in that situation at times, like putting that goal out there and then just kind of work towards the goal while finding the next thing that you want to do, I guess. So yeah, anyways, these badass like temples cut into, especially like this one, cut in a stone, got me thinking, wouldn't it be cool as an additional sort of point of interest? So this is a zone, and again, this is just freestyling, learning Blender a little bit, playing around. this is a zone where it's like, all right, so little temple in this rock. Temple entrance in this rock. Point of interest seems fun. How much experience do I have with Blender? I'm on like, what, day 5 or something? I'm not a 3D artist by any means. And so what I wanted to do is sort of show without having to create a bunch of new materials. But it seems like we may need a couple materials to make some things pop. You already have that? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, this is probably, if I had to guess, if I was just like sitting and working on this uninterrupted, this would be a couple days work, I guess, maybe. P99 together would be fun. Hashpipe and Nick. And EQD&D, if we ever get that going. Yeah, I haven't heard back from Zaid, but I'd be super down with it. So essentially what I wanted to do is build like a thing that looks... So I want this to be basically twice as big. And we'll bring the ocean over and wrap it around into what will basically be a bay. I don't know how to get the view out, the rendering distance out further in here, but... Oh, maybe here it is. Let's say 2000. There we go. Perfect. See, that's how hard it is to learn stuff. Just click some buttons. Don't mind being a dummy. Boom. Thank you so much, OJ. So I'm thinking we double up on this, right? Shaka, what's going on? Did I miss a different message? Well, no. Okay. So something about like this, right? So I wanna basically double this landmass, have it wrap around into what will actually be the coastal town here. And so coastal town will look about like, so essentially it'd be like this, right? Then we have a coastal town here. We've got mountains here with an overlook, right? And the mountains are like a windy sort of high pass kind of thing, which will have points of interest within it, because High Pass has some kind of cool little waterfalls and lakes and probably entrances to other caves. So the thing I'm thinking with anything that we're doing, lots of random entrances, lots of like potential entrances, etc., right? So we have a primary pass that would go up here into a different sort of topography and climate. So this will wind up, maybe it's greener up here. We start getting a little LV or something. Will fishing be in this game? Hell yeah. Hell yeah on fishing. Then we got our little rocky thing here that we're currently in this area, right? So there's the pass entrance. There'll be an entrance into a tunnel or a temple compound structure, whatever thing here. And this different kind of stone, which more deserty. We got that darker rock backdrop here. Another pass. We want to justify this town that's on the bay being like really, really good for trade, right? So it's gotta be at a nice intersection. And so yeah, that's what I was thinking. So the next thing I need to do is basically double up this landmass, carve it to then bring the ocean through, have it continue in here. So it's kind of like a north row works its way through in terms of overall sort of scale, like. And this is still, it still feels too small, to be honest with you. But sort of you work your way through and then you've got some stuff down here that basically has multiple points of entrance. I took the aqueduct idea like this morning, took a few minutes just to get rid of it, and replaced it with basically water flowing out of the mountains and then pooling here, going down to the ocean here. But you can actually, let me see. It's another point of interest. It's another entrance into a cave system. So like if you come in here where the water's coming out, then you can like work your way up into essentially another area. So it'd be like zone, probably zone, maybe Maybe stuff hidden in here by certain moonlight, you can find it. Zone. Room for points of interest along the water. Now that we've got a little oasis here, we could probably also make that feel like a POI as well. Then we pass through into this area that I was talking about, basically adding to. So now we have more sand here. This stands out then as its own sort of like it's a ridge of this sandstone that comes up here. And then on the far side, yep, you've got the entrance. So you'll be able to actually walk around either way. So you can walk along the shoreline here and then walk along the bay. Or come through here. And then this will be the setup for basically the walls of like the town. Essentially our Freeport meets Tijuana, maybe, with vampires. How's that sound? And then kill this. And then I've imported the mesh once into Unity to kind of get a feel for scale. The scale feels off. Hidden Tree. Awesome to see you, and thank you very much for the sub. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, well, I'm assuming you are who I think you are based on the spelling of your name, and that it is Hidden Tree Dev. So it'd be awesome to catch up, talk about the project that you're working on, and maybe show it at some point. This Thursday, we'll be speaking with the Defend the Night folk. That'll be fun. Oh, thanks, Shaka. So what I wanted to do is just be able to run around in this thing, see if this works. This is absolutely no reflection of how things are supposed to work or look or whatever. I just honestly, I pulled this mesh in as quickly as possible to see if I could do it, but then also to see the scale in the editor. Let's see if it works. Worked earlier. Is that a Loving Robot shirt? Yes. So I tried to get a couple things made using Stream Elements. Like if you use their stuff, they also will let you like set up a merge site and all that stuff. And I wanted to test out some of its data quality. Orc has too many polys. This is true. Orc is pretty high fidelity. Do you like this? Ali and Nick went to town on trying to make basically an updated version with the EQ feel of the fire. So anyway, let me finish this thought real quick. I had a shirt made, I had a bag made, and I had a sticker just to see what the quality looks like. The stickers, I'm pretty picky because of skateboarding. So for the price, dude, they would charge like $5 for the sticker, and I wouldn't want to charge you $5 for the sticker, so I'd rather find a different solution. I mean, it's one of those things where if you're like, hey man, whatever, that's fine, but honestly, I'd rather find a different solution. I had the shirt printed, and before I like made it where anybody could potentially buy anything, I just wanted to check the quality, because I don't want you buying something and being ripped off or whatever, right? So I looked at this, and I mean, it's cool. It's not slim fit, so I wouldn't wear it. I like very slim shirts. It looks, I think, better quality on the camera than it feels to me. It just feels like if you wash this like a couple times, it may not hold up, and I would feel bad if that happened. This, on the other hand, this bag is cool because like I put boxing gloves and crap like that to take to the gym, and I've got my old jiu-jitsu bag. But this thing actually feels printed up okay, but you may wind up replacing the strings in not long after owning it. They feel a little weak. But and it's also doing weird things with its shape right now. Why is it so crazy? But I mean, that turned out pretty cool. if I was smart, I would have printed a couple of the masks. They have like pull-up mask thingies for our trip this weekend. So silk screen or vinyl screen? It feels like vinyl screen on a t-shirt, right? Like it just feels like an applique. I mean, a little bit better, but it doesn't feel like multi-layered silk, like silk screen. It doesn't have that thickness. Like I can see a little bit of the bleed through of the material already. Right, so like if I do this, you can maybe see it a little. So, yeah, you definitely want thick printing if you're gonna spend money. Like if you spend like $20 on a t-shirt, then that shit better hold up for you for a while, dude. But this thing, the way that it printed on here, I think maybe they impregnate the material better. What I'll do is I'll wash this shirt every time we do laundry. I'll wash this shirt and see if I'm full of shit or not. But this actually feels good, so I'll look at some of the other stuff that they have. I mean, hell, man. At the end of the day, it's cool to see it. It feels it's not about like putting a merch link up if the merch doesn't feel like it's the right quality to me. That said, appreciate subscriptions. That one's always available. And then we'll work on this other stuff and see if we can get you some cool stuff and we can all... Oh, wow. I didn't realize I had plopped the building right over the dude. Capsule, dude. Roughly same height. So, yeah. The torches are badass. Sorry I got distracted, Bootly. They did a great job on the torches. Hidden Tree, thank you very much. I love having stuff to listen to when I'm either out walking, taking Ziggy to doggy daycare, or running. So I'm glad that the podcasts are working out for you. I apologize for the... I'm not an audio dude. Brent's done a great service by me by helping with getting them all like ripped so I can upload them to Spotify and stuff. But like if I knew what I was doing here, I'm sure the audio levels would be more consistent. There'd be fewer like alert noises in the background, all that shit. But what you gonna do? We gotta start somewhere. All right, so I just hopped out of the... I don't have jump, so I'm committed now. No textures here. If you notice, this doesn't look like it does in the editor. But I just wanted to have it so I could get a feel for scale. Like, oh wow, look at this water. Except it's winter, so it's ice. The water will change. If you look here, you can see all of the sculpting that I did, adding the little temple and all that stuff. It wasn't here when I exported this, whenever it was. This morning or whatever. But yeah, so... overall, it feels like an okay start. Again, we're learning a little bit about scale and things like that. It feels like it's maybe... it could maybe be... I don't know, double the size I think would be too big. So maybe like 50% bigger. But we'll see. I'll finish building the additional pieces that we mentioned and then kind of go there from there. Ali mentioned something about potentially wanting to do some modeling tonight and us doing a little screen share or something in a little bit. So that'd be pretty cool. Oasis. Interesting. Transparent beyond the material. Yeah. I have to figure out if this if this movement speed is accurate. You can see the remnants before I cleaned up. I don't think this is here anymore. Remnants of the crap I was messing with the aqueduct. So, yeah. That's Unity, and here's Blender again. Is it ready for QA? Almost ready for QA. I know you're excited to write more bugs. Are the geo normals not smooth, soft on purpose? Help me understand the terminology. Are the geo normals? My assumption is when you say normals, omegatomic, you're talking about the materials. Where do I get the assets? Everything in here is made by us so far. So Ollie did all of everything that you saw in here. So this is that one level that you saw like a couple weeks ago. It's just the torches have been modified and improved. And in geometry, a normal is the direction or line that is perpendicular to something, typically a triangle or surface, but can also be a relative line, a tangent line, or a point. Because when you said normal, I was like, because by the way, guys, I'm not an artist. At no point in my career have I been an artist. Before I was in games, maybe I tried to mod some stuff, but okay. So you're talking about like the planes shading is kind of hard. Averaging the normals of verts along change would smooth lighting versus hard edges. So we're going for a lot of like EQ classic hard edges intentionally, if that answers your question. Like, so even here, right, like this dune, yeah, the hard edges are very much on purpose for the time being. Now we like sometimes I would say if I look at something like this, I might come in, okay, cool, thank you. I learn with every conversation. So like basically because if this is meant to like replicate a different type of rock, my assumption, again, I'm not an artist, but my assumption is if I'm coming for something like this, it'll still be hard, but what I would probably do is anything that's meant to be like dunes or duney or a different type of stone, like this point right here, I'd look at it and go, that's too pointy. Bless you, Jasmine. And so I'd probably come in and try to round it a little bit so that the, you know, this is too predictable here, but I know that I'm going to have to, whoopsies. I know that I'm going to have to weld this other thing. You don't want a smooth dune. You want to get poked by it. Well, but it's sort of the silhouette is something I would look at and go, okay, does this silhouette feel sort of rounded, but still an EQ sense of the word enough to feel different than maybe this pointy, harder, jaggedy rock? Rounded? Yes. But again, don't expect anything I touch in Blender or anywhere else art-wise to actually be production assets. This is all just placeholder shit, so that we have something to run around in, play around in, have a little sandbox, test level, etc. The goal is to have actual artists do art. I am not an artist. I am mostly middle management. More recently, upper management. And in this situation, I don't even know. All right. Oops. Exactly. Let an actual artist take the ideas and kind of do something cool with it. We'll have some concept art. I'm very curious to see what she does, but we've got a really awesome artist looking at just doing some sort of mood and inspirational pieces based on the descriptions that we've provided. So I'm very curious to see what she comes up with. Yeah, so I think I've poked at this stuff enough for now. My thought was I would attempt to add the additional land in here this evening, because then I would have people help me maybe find the optimal way to do it. Assistant regional manager? Yes. Dravik, no, it's a different artist from the person that's doing the character and race stuff. OJ said, I know it's several steps ahead of where you are, concept art and test levels for scale. But I'd love to see a mock-up screen with character art, terrain art together. Yeah, at some point, that would be very cool. Robot, do you know your mic level is extremely low compared to other streamers? I don't want it to up the volume 3 times because then I'll blow up my speakers. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty aware that my volume is low relative to other streamers. I'm hoping that when we move and I have an actual room to stream from, where I'm not as worried about having to constantly filter background noise, etc., then it may be better. Once we get there, if it's still too low, then we'll see. But yeah, I'm continuing to try to work on it. My only solutions for it so far don't seem to be very, very good. I mean, I can try turning it up a little bit more and see what happens. How about now? I think I'm also just maybe a quieter person than some other streamers as well. I've heard the overall audio of the stream is pretty low. But then I've also had, at least each time that happens, 3 other people go, no, it's fine. So we'll see. Racketech, have you laid out anywhere, maybe in a past stream, what sorts of things you would like to theoretically keep and what you change from Classic EQ, or what your guiding philosophy is? Yeah, we've hit on a little bit, but in terms of formalizing that, those discussions are in progress sort of daily. Trying to think if there's an easy way to sort of sum it up, but essentially the goal is to provide an experience that feels a lot like the classic MMO experience, right? Like we're trying to replicate that sense of discovery through inclusion of mechanics that keeps the world feeling sort of deep and mysterious. A lot of work with scheduling. So think of it kind of like a bit of Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley mixed with your early EverQuest experience. Keeping a lot of just sort of initial focus on a very classic sort of traditional fantasy game. I'm trying not to say EQ, but you know what I mean. Like basically looking at combat that emphasizes like strategy and decisions over like skill. I think when you look at EQ, it's something that I think was accessible for a lot of folks as like their first MMO, or even like their first, many people as like their first RPG, or like RPG. They hadn't really played a lot of computer games, but you got in, and it was one of those things where the combat was a slow enough pace. There weren't a ton of buttons that you had to click and manage cooldowns and all this other stuff. And it gave it a feel of like combat was a thing in the game, but the game wasn't built around like the actual combat, moment-to-moment combat mechanics themselves. And so really, we're just looking at how do we get back to emphasis on group play, slow-paced character development, no real strong emphasis on like blasting to 50 or 60 and then rating. More like, how do you spend that time in groups adventuring? When you are solo, how can you do things that feel productive or make you feel like you're either contributing to your community or in some way growing your character and exploring? Do you plan on having factions for all the NPCs like EQ had? Yeah, we actually want to take the faction thing way further. So like imagine you know, if you're spending time in South Carolina and you're grinding out there, you can figure out how to build a relationship with like the split paw gnolls, to the point where it feels a bit like the, you know, Thurgoden Kael Drakal like experience in Velius, where there's a lot of like opportunity to sort of unlock NPC cities or monster cities as cities. Lots of depth to factioning beyond just like, you know, the bigger factions. It's like factions, that a system that goes all the way down to individual relationships. So, and have quest start points and quest content and other stuff buried both in like those types of scenarios, but also then in the scheduler. So what is the moon cycle? Does the moon cycle make it so that that drawing on a cave wall, you know, or not cave wall, but like a mountain wall, sort of a la Lord of the Rings, like if you're there at the right day on the right time, then all of a sudden you have an ability to access something, unlock something, pick up something. We want to do a lot with, you know, harvesting, hunting, exploring. So all of those various nodes where like if you're out collecting mushrooms, it could be that when the rain comes through, a different kind of mushroom may be available to you. If it's a different season, a different kind of mushroom may be available to you. If it's midnight on October 31st, a different kind of mushroom may be available to you. And have that like just extend across all of the various systems. So yeah, 30-minute mushroom cutscene's probably not going to happen. Content fidelity is going to be very reminiscent of that early EQ experience. Like when I was the designer on the game, we can make a decent amount of content pretty fast because it was relatively simple. But that simple content, you know, would tie into those other systems like quest system or whatever in a way where there's still value to it. So it's not a very concise response, Rekka, I guess. I'll have to work on the elevator pitch some more. I wasn't really thinking about it at the moment. But it's essentially, you know, a game that embraces some of the things that, you know, in those early days we're like, oh, this is stuff we need to try to get rid of, like camping and, you know, farming stuff and just grinding XP. This is a game that's kind of like a love letter to those days back, you know, in the day, those days back when we first started playing EQ and like, and when I was working on it and was like extremely passionate about it as a player, but then also someone that had the opportunity to work on it, was like, oh, we need to fix some of these things. And then over the years, like I've kind of missed them. And like, you know, I'm not the only one. Otherwise we wouldn't be doing this. I like the fact that we're even working on this is sort of it evolved from, you know, conversations we were all having. And it's like, shit, maybe we should start poking at this and see. Yeah, hash pipe. That is the point. We haven't, there's a lot of this stuff that we haven't hashed out to a point of like a decision, but my default tends to always go back to fairly simplistic mechanics, Dravik. So Dravik's question is, thoughts on interactive trade skills. Do you like a more simple approach like EQ1 where you just put items into something, click the button? Or like EQ2, Final Fantasy 14, where you have like cooldowns and abilities. And I will always default to the most simplest solution until we can find a real strong justification to go more complex. And the reason for that is, if I look at like EQ, and the thing is, we're considering all of it. But like, if I look at like EQ, it's simple and click, right? It's like, it's even simpler now with like the TLP quality of life. Like basically if you have the items, it'll run it for you automatically. But even before that, like that drag, click, drag, click. To me, that's like meditative, right? I've dug being back on, you know, being on TLP and using like the automated system, but then like maybe the trick is to discover the recipes and have components and maybe there's something in there. We've discussed we've just started, but we've discussed a lot of those cool ideas about like, but if it's a more interactive process, is there a way to like improve on it? And you know, I think you had this right where like if you caught certain things at certain times, it would affect the quality of it. If people want to do that hundreds or thousands of times, then you know, like maybe it's worthwhile. But I also found like the more dead simple a mechanic is, sometimes it makes it easier to repeat without losing your mind, right? Because I don't want to play a bullshit minigame 1,000 times if it starts to feel like a bullshit minigame. That's just me. Those are my thoughts, not everybody's, clearly. What's up, Scribble? Yep, a little bit of Blender today. Nice and relaxing. It's Monday. Gonna take it easy. All right, so at some point, I need to actually... Here, let's hit all. What I want to do in here. Why'd I hit all? No, not for that. Modeling? Editing? No. Wasn't there a quicker way to do this? So if I go to modeling, UV, smart UV project. Okay. Little tiny cleanup. Cool. That's fine. People often use macros as trade skill. Building systems support the game automation would be good. Keeps, how do you feel with regards to the like the newer style, like the automation that I'll just always say SOE. Sorry, SOE put in for trade skills these days. Do you think it covers the need? Yeah, it seems like a fair enough compromise. Ishiwatari sounds cool. I'd love to go old school and not worry about rotations, etc. I believe that's why old school RuneScape is still successful. Yeah, and it's funny, like I think there's just maybe even as we get older, some of us like we just want something that's a little more chill. Like I really like the other night when Nick and Keebs and I were in Sebulus, like it was really fun because it was still dangerous. There was still that opportunity to die. Like I probably accidentally let Keebs die, but I swear it all happened so fast. But like as a cleric, I was like, lots of chill time, lots of downtime, and then all of a sudden, oh shit, hold on to your hats, right? So I dig that. Like I'm cool with that. That's the game I want to play, right? Like that sort of thing. All right. So anyway, let me see if I can do this. This would be a weird way to do it, but again, I'm still like learning the best ways. All right. So I've added this. We're good here. I think we're what I wanted to do is fill in this tunnel a little bit, I guess. And then we can go and make the new landmass and try to round this thing out. The grouping in Shreza will be fun, yeah. All right, so I guess if I go to edge select, boom, boom. Oh wait, no, there's that whole what was the way that Ollie was showing me last time I was in here? Where basically I could grab the entire outside. I don't think it was loop, cut, and slide. No, that's just a cut. Though that may be helpful. Let's go ahead and do that. Did that do it? Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense because now I can just play with this. I don't have to do what I was about to do. All right. So I'll come around here. Maybe it'll be easier to select things. Probably not what I wanted. Those of you familiar with Blender, feel free at any point to sort of help me understand a faster way of doing some stuff. Do it this way. And what I could also do, I guess, is maybe on the x-axis, start to turn it. And G again. That's a little too crazy. Cool. And what I wanted to do, I didn't want this to actually be a tunnel. I was thinking that it's more of a canyon, but we could have it be like a tunnel for now. Because again, this isn't like, not trying to build the actual production zone. Just want to put a little bit of a dog leg in here so that we could mask the zone line. Because those of you that are just catching up to what we've been talking about, yeah, like all of the old school, like it's zone based, you know, and even if we have the ability to load the art extremely fast, we still want that experience of you hitting a zone line, and it won't be an art problem, right? Like art and data, we want that experience of you hitting a zone line and sort of disengaging from your previous experience and entering what you know is now a new context. So there may be things that are different, right? You know, when you go into a new zone, the odds are there's probably some variation in zone population. There may be some different rules going on. If you're outdoors, you zone indoors, there's clearly a different set of rules, right? Things like that. So I love zone lines. I love camping. I love so many of the things that we used to think were like, oh, this is horrible. I wish we didn't have these things. And 20 years later, I'm like, nope, I like it. I miss it. Cool. And I guess we'll just do the same thing again. That cave at the top of the dual waterfall would be a cool zone line for a dungeon. Yeah. So that's what I thought. Like, I was thinking it was going to be some sneaky way to get into some place, and back when it was like the idea was an aqueduct, but now I think it's a different way to get into something related to this zone that we're sort of making the entrance to as well, or this other entrance to here. Have we had the level scaling conversion here before? Oh, about whether or not content should scale with your level? Maybe. I'm super not into it. I think most of the people I've talked to so far are not into scaling content. Yeah. So again, this may wind up coming off a little janky, but what can I do other than maybe learn and not do it that way? All right. So I think this is enough of a weird dog leg to block your line of sight, right? Almost there. Is this for a game you're working on or just learning a dumb mask? Try to rotate it with R. Oh, cool. Yeah, good point. It is a little bit of both. So I'm learning Blender because it seems like a fun way to get some placeholder assets. And once I started working with it, I was like, it feels okay to me. Like I feel like I'm able to kind of picture something and make it. So I might as well keep doing it while we're waiting to get better art in place. But we're also doing this as a proof of concept for a new game. All right, thanks. So do you think I should grab what I've been grabbing here? So if I go R, well, first let me get out of fly mode, I guess. Have you been tried messing with Pro Builder and Unity itself? I haven't, and we're still discussing whether or not this is the optimal sort of pipeline or not. Is it the same style builder, or is it more like I don't like the, I shouldn't say I don't like it. For this game, I'm not looking for the like nice, smooth, pretty terrain and stuff. All right, so R and then Z. Now the question is, should it go up? Definitely recommend looking at Pro Builder. It lets you do this kind of blocking out within the engine. Ooh, I may have to try it then, and it's free. Yeah, it's cool that Blender's free as well. All right. So here, if I go R and then Z. R, Z. That's not too bad. Yeah, that helped. Thanks, Finks. Cool. All right. So again, this is good enough for government work. Now for the big thing. Who's got recommendations on a cleaner way to basically double this landmass than what I did last time? I went back and read, I know in Discord we had some discussion of like draping and stuff like that. I think Ali had mentioned it, but I don't, I couldn't figure out exactly what that was about. There's a mirror modifier in Blender. Okay, so what would I do? I'd grab, oops. Would that be in like object mode? Rekka said you could probably get the meshes, OBJ data, and export it. What are you planning on doing for out of Unity networking? Doing your own collision detection. So Ali is grabbing all of that at the moment. Tech TV, what's going on? Non-Unity networking. Yeah, so like he's been working on a solution, and again, we've got two different modes that we're going to be in. One is going to be proof of concept, and then after proof of concept, we'll be looking at final. But I know Ali, the way he's been architecting things and implementing them, it's with final in mind, so that we're not really just making a ton of throwaway on that end. Right, Rekka. All right, so let me scroll up. Who is talking about? All right, so Rekka, it was you talking about the mirror modifier. What do I need to do here? Do I need to go into edit mode and select what I want to mirror? Have I worked with modifiers in Blender at all? A little bit. I don't remember. So I'd be adding a modifier here, right? Yeah, so we currently have the decimate modifier going on. Another option would be to clone it, set its scale on the x-axis and negative with in object mode, and then join the two. And then from there, just basically adjust. All right. But would that be cloning the entire thing? And that would that be a simple duplicate? All right, so we'll go duplicate object and then invert its Y scale, move it over, join them, and then merge vertices. All right, so how do I invert its Y scale? Hold Y to slide it here. Cool. And select. I'm staring intently at chat. Yeah, because I had to go for a haircut this morning. I mean, I had to go. I wanted to go. So I went and got a haircut and shave this morning. And it's easier if I just put my contacts in so that then I can see what he's doing while he's doing it. It's like only days I wear contacts anymore are if I'm getting my haircut or if I'm going to the gym and I actually want to box. Because I don't like, you know, punching and kicking with the glasses on. You should be able to scale it with S and lock it to the Y axis the same way. All right, so S, Y. Boom. Freaking magic. Now the question is, where do I see whether or not like I've scaled it to the same proportion? Should be on the screen somewhere. Yeah. Oh. It's up top left, it looks like. So I'm at -1.0057. Can I twitch a little bit? Nope. All right, so that's about as good as we're gonna get. And then I can go maybe looking at the object. There's some object data here. And holding control should snap it. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll Z this. We'll hit S. We'll hit Y. We'll flip it. Oh, you're right. Control right there. I had to do some guitar fingers. I was like... Okay. Oops. We'll move this in here. About there. And then we'll go down and look and see what our handiwork looks like so far. Are they on the same Z? Yes? Cool. Holding control, snap it is the new trick for me. Well, there's a couple new tricks in there. So, then what we can do is see about the best way to, I guess maybe G this guy again. A little more of a nudge. Wonder how close we can get these. Is there like a, can I snap here? In object mode. That would be handy. G. Move it along the X? No, the Y. Yeah, it felt like it just snapped right there. That said, that may not be the move, because then we got these like janky, these points are a bit weird, right? Like, what is this about? Apologies in advance to your artist. I don't think the artist is ever going to really touch this thing. We're gonna run around in this for a little bit. We'll use it to do some sort of testing. And then we'll toss it in the old memory banks. You can join the object and then merge overlapping vertices. It almost feels like I want, it almost feels like I want to have a gap here and then just fill all of this so that there's at least one more, like, yeah. We'll start here, I think, and see what happens. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. One more face. Just a little tedious. Well, if you guys come up with another topic to discuss while I do it, it will not be tedious. It will actually be rather enjoyable for me. But then again, I could come back and do that tedious part when you guys aren't watching, if that's a bit too much. Alright, so interesting. I have to switch. Do I have to? Because this is a separate object now. So if I want to edit these together, you need to merge the objects so they both go in the same object file. Cool. That's what I was about to ask. Alright, so got these guys. And object view. I've got them both. Join. Excellent. I will let somebody in the crowd answer Shaka's question, because I've seen Maya a ton at work watching artists, but I have nothing, no point of reference there. All right, so now when we go into edit, cool. So in theory, we could just do this number. I'm a bit bummed that that face is now, I wish there was more distance between the face. I wonder if I can grab all of this shit and just drag it just a tiny bit. So that when we make those faces, I don't know, man. Like, why am I getting that anal about it? It doesn't matter. It don't matter. Oh, we'll do this. Textural stretch. It doesn't matter for now. Like I said, this is all just concept placeholdery kind of stuff, right? So we can do a bunch of this F. Right, and then in theory, if we come back and select these, can we then go, oops, no. So if I go here, Like these faces. Triangulate them. Beautiful. More triangles. Because in theory, I guess if we go here, here, and then UV, smart, boom, it'll clean up a little bit. I mean, it's wrong rotation or whatever, right? So in theory, all of this is fine. Yeah, so we should be good. Like I said, I'll fixate on little things that I try to, like, I'll be like, oh, we should fix this. And then you just got to remind me, like, dude, this is throwaway work. For being so anal. This is meant, the effect we're going for here is not perfection. The effect we're going for here is we can pop in Unity, potentially. If I don't wind up going to like Pro Builder or whatever, but in theory, we can save this out. We can go into Unity and we can be like, stop that. We can go in and be like, wow. You're an engineer, not an artist. Fair enough. I haven't heard any artists contradict your advice so far, so I think we're good. You need to set a timer for yourself on things like this. Oh, you mean like just making like filler, or I mean proof of concept work, so you don't overdo it? Like I do. Oh my god, what did I do? I like doing stuff like this for the same reason that I like a lot of things about EQ, right? Like I can have some music going on, we're having a conversation, right? I can be watching some TV or whatever, and it's just like boom, click, click, boom, click, click, boom, right? It's just so relaxing. Like to me, EverQuest is this wonderful, persistent place where my time matters. If I invest a bunch of time into doing some tedious shit, there's still probably a payoff. There's value in it. But it's like, it's a place where I can press click 1,000 times and be like, all right, that was nice and meditative, and it kind of has some value. I just made myself a set of armor. Little podcast in the background, or it is both my place and my meditation. Did I do any tutorials or just dive in mostly? Dove in mostly when I was trying to make the gnome. There's a little bit of tutorial action there, but again, like it was like me skimming through a 15-minute tutorial. I think the most time I spent on a gnome was honestly like trying to learn how to rig them. Oh, painful. And then when I rigged them, I realized just how bad the model was. Oh. See, we're almost done here. That went by quickly. Dekaj, howdy. I like your duck. Speaking of classic MMO things, what are your thoughts on legacy items like Mana Stone and Guys becoming effectively unavailable to players who join the game later? So, I don't have a great answer for you on this that you probably, I mean, I've got the wishy-washy, like, on one hand, I think it's awesome that they exist because then they become this stuff of legend. And it was always cool to like be in a guild where you like track those items and their whereabouts, and you know, they became like these relics that had really cool value, especially, you know, if you can trade them. But then I feel bad for the people that didn't weren't there on time. But then maybe that gets into the whole idea of like, I think there's something to be said about TLPs. Nick said he was just theorizing on a system to do that with the FOMO aspect. Yeah, I think there is, or without. interesting. I think there is something that, well, that became strangely religious. But we're gonna be sculpting all this other side to make it different anyway. So, I think there's something cool though about a little bit of the like the fear of missing out if there's some opportunity in your sort of gaming career to come in again. That's why I like TLP. Like I was just hell bent on getting guises for my tunes, right? Because I knew that there was going to be that limited opportunity. But sorry, Rekka, I do not have a good answer for you on that. I don't think that was a very satisfying answer. I apologize. Kemp, now you have me all self-conscious about my volume level. Maybe that's it. Maybe once I move and I get the volume hammered out, we'll see that people are even more excited about the stream. The first thing I'm going to do over here is just sort of allow me to mentally get back to 0 on this. So let's go over here. We'll go to ground. Apply that. Face it, please. Let's do this again in a less janky way. Assign. Okay. Cool. Especially, so Draffic, especially with our approach to like scheduling, some of the stuff you may not be able to get later, just, or it may take you quite a while to get at a later date just because the stars won't align properly. So let's see what we can do here. Is there like a modifier, or is there a simple way to flatten? Just flatten to like 0 or flatten to nearest? So Shaka said it's been interesting watching the reaction to covenants and shadowlines and how difficult it will be to change your choice. As one YouTuber said, it's the first choice with consequences the WoW player base had to make in over 10 years. Gravic's response is, the problem I have with covenants is that most players don't get to make a choice at all. You'll go look at a list and see what the best one for your class spec is. That's one of my concerns about some of those choices, in quote. If you scale and lock to Z, you should be able to level it all out. Interesting. So, all right, let's try that real quick and see what happens. Go back to box select. Maybe we'll do this number. We'll leave that side alone. We'll hit this here. You know what? Let's keep those mountains. So we'll leave the center. We'll leave this. We'll leave those mountains back there for now. And then scale Z. To 0. And then control gets 0. Boom. You should just be able to type in 0. I didn't see where I could type it in, but I did. I used your control trick to see what. Let's look now. Yeah, guys, that's pretty cool. And we created a monument. Here's an obelisk out of our other tunnel. So I've just been deleting stuff like this in the following manner. Let me know if it causes problems. something like this, I would just go and then just delete faces. And sometimes there's some edges. What's dissolve do? Dissolve edges? No. Delete. Alright. Like I said, my cynical perspective is that when your lore and gameplay are so boring and derivatives, the only interesting thing to do is be as powerful just be as powerful as you can be. Don't tell me that. I'm a big fan of boring and derivative lore. That was my whole plan for the world story. Shit, what are we gonna do now, Nick? The intro to this song always reminds me of another song that's like an actual... Oh, what is the band? What is the song? Oh, it reminds me of a song from... Oh, man. Why am I spacing out on it? Blah, blah, blah. It's the Danger Mouse, one of his bands. Something Bells. Bells, Danger Mouse. All caps, apparently. Broken Bells. Love Broken Bells. I've not listened to a lot of Broken Bells lately, though, because Broken Bells is like my good breakup music. Which is like the opposite of my situation. I have to see if I can listen to Broken Bells and not be breaking up. Oh my god, look at this mess of faces here. I don't know what the hell's going on here. We may have to just delete that whole... Well, we want to delete all of this anyways because there's going to be water here. So I guess in theory we could just put it below the water. Here, we'll delete the... Delete face. Delete face. And G, Z down a little bit. Cool. Then object mode, select this one. We can duplicate object. Okay. Duplicate object. Oops. Duplicate object. Weird. Huh. I wonder why that keeps happening. Oh, because I'm hitting X? Interesting. Okay. So we'll do this one last time. Along the X-axis. Cool. Now select. They're overlapping. But what do we want to do again? Join them? Cool. And then we can edit that later. Edit. And guess I could just go along here and extrude. Sorry, I've been letting you guys just go after it in the WoW conversation. I've stepped back there. Figured you guys you had it covered. And I'm not super committed to the WoW topic. So hopefully that's not rude. But actually it seems relevant to what we're talking about here, so I'll get to it right after Garbly's question. So how large do you guys plan on the map being? So we're zone based. So we're going zone based. So each individual zone will vary in terms of size based on the intent of the zone. All the way down to even little pocket zones. I know Nick's been pretty excited about that. That was something in a previous game I was ultra excited about as well, and we wound up not really making use of. So I'm glad that's coming up as well. So, all right. So can I just join these here and then, oh man, this whole thing needs to move, to be honest. All right, so let me catch up on that. All right, so Dravik's point is that you really don't get to pick based on what you think's cool or fun. It's more like whatever the min-max, like whatever's been selected as, basically the one you have to pick. He said that's why I don't what I don't like about WoW making these changes. Each expansion now that you have systems to try and change your character or give you abilities. Taka says I'll back up. WoW's lore is retconned so much I don't see the point of getting invested. Derivative is probably the wrong choice of words. All right, fair enough. Yeah. Because I was about to say everything's derivative though. I love being derivative. Dravik said don't tie power to factions or systems each expansion because then it just gets thrown away in the end and you have a new system each expansion. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier today. In Legion, we leveled artifact weapons, made them powerful, then threw them out. Now in BFA, we're leveling necklaces, just toss them out again. Replacing old gear is fine, but these aren't just gear, they're systems with levels and abilities tied to them. Greg said, I get heated up about current WoW. I've been playing it since launch. Don't care for what they've done. Do it is all. Don't mind me. All right. No worries. And if any of you in here are currently part of the WoW team, I'm sure you hear all this kind of stuff all the time. But, you know, again, we try to be friendly in here. Sorry, guys. Honestly want more non-Tolkien based MMOs. Oh. Everybody's got their thing, Sikash. I am such a elves and squirrels and shit kind of guy. I just love dwarves and dragons and just super boring old school. Oh, what's going on here? Why is that snapping? Interesting. And I appreciate the other stuff. It's just for me, I'm like very much what's that snapping to if it's not snapping to this other plane? Oops, I dissolved it. Or put something back to it. If I see another elf fighting a dragon, sorry. What if you see an elf being buddies with a dragon? Is that better? Yeah, what if the dragon's head had laser eyes? Or what if the dragon was in charge of a major corporation? Laser eyes would sell it? Okay. Well, we're gonna do at least one dragon with laser eyes just to get you in. Just to hook you, be like, all right, but we did the laser eyes. You can't bail on us now. We are counting on you, Sakaj. All right, I don't want to fill. I want to connect. How do I connect these? Middle management dragon. That's going back into that fun, like, that realm of like myth. What was it? Myth Incorporated? Stuff like that. All of the old fun. Was that all like Cratchit or who? There was so much old, just fun social commentary type fantasy. How do I connect these guys? Bridge? No, that doesn't seem like what we want. There should be an easy way for me to take this thing and snap it to that thing. They're essentially the same thing. Why wouldn't they snap? I got snapping on edges. Snap with close. Now you see where all my time goes. If I do G and then no X. Why are you not snapping? And why is that thing so weird? Okay. We'll just pretend like that isn't janky looking for now. And let me get back to work. Click faces. Come here, duplicate. I guess I could just extrude along here. Alright, that'll work. That gets it going for now. And we can submerge this stuff a bit. Oh, it's still snapping. Stop it. Do I have a dwarf for scale of the terrain? I have a gnome. He's levitating a little bit. He's pretty awesome. He's he's a magical gnome. See, we have everything in this game. What else do you need? We have middle management dragons. May or may not have laser eyes. It may be a different dragon with laser eyes. We have magical gnomes. We have sand. Lots of sand. We have interesting and mystifying doorways in the sand. We have passages that you can then go into that water comes out of, that you then creep your little creepiness up in there, and then find out a whole new area exists that you didn't know before. We have this wonderfully shaped tunnel. Thank you very much. Thanks. We have a human-sized. Well, I didn't realize his feet were in the sand. No one warned me about that. Middle management dragon. We may actually wind up having some dragon that's kind of like an up-and-comer. We got nice gaps and seams in places. Fairly unrealistic beach. We have this to fix. Let's fix this now while we're here. Look at you. Looking all wrong. I don't know that any beaches really look like this, though. They tend to be smoother, don't they? Alright, so that's the edge there. Fair enough. Middle management dragon. Gotta work his way up the ladder, or it's back to Hertz Rent-A-Car. Well, whatever the dragon sort of analog is. I mean, we don't want to get too crazy. Gyro middle management dragon. Yeah. Some of those dragon encounters didn't seem super memorable. Oops. into object mode, grab this guy again. Edit mode here. It's a bit ugly, but it will do. Ali, what's up? You missed a lot of fun conversation. Unfortunately, we figured everything out already. Yes, the meow is Ali. His secret identity has been burnt. The secret's out. So Ali, look what we did. So if you look at it like this, well, if you go up that high, then the issues make the water look a little bit crazy. So what I was saying was I put this in here based on the inspiration I got from the image that you shared. I was like, man, this is so badass. So I went and I found a bunch of these. Seems like there was a lot of them. Maybe that's just the internet tricking me. So that's this one here. And then we fixed up the tunnel into, ignore this. We duped it and that's not how it's supposed to work. Oh. Then over edit mode here. Worked on the passage a little bit. So add the passage. Got rid of the aqueduct concept because it was forcing me to think too much about city placement in the wrong place. So yeah, we got this cave, and then the water actually comes out from the mountains, which gives you another way into the mountains. Oh, that's not here. All right, there we go. Slow down a little bit. So there. And we got an oasis. And turn this into sort of a freestanding sandstone type hill. Then we got more beach over here. And then we'll work our way to where they actually come. Thank you, buddy. A lot of tonight was just been like just figuring out how to do some of these things. So it's been super cool. Lots of good advice in here. Recatech was in here helping a lot. So, oh, you've just been listening? Yeah, that's why I try to read the chat so much. I know a lot of folks just listen. So that's why I'm always reading the chat out when I'm not like spacing out. So I'll work on smoothing this, make it better. But then the idea was to basically sort of replicate this area right here. The passage up, mountain pass, all sorts of like what is it? Now I'm spacing on a name. High pass. And then we have opportunity to do whatever down here. Again, all just placeholder concept-y kind of stuff, but wanted to at least put a little thought into it. Even the fact that it's facing, because Nick, you asked this question the other day, right? Like if we're doing like Freeport meets Tijuana, like is it on the East Coast or West Coast? So it's on the West Coast, and Jasmine and I were thinking about why this is. The mountains are to the back of this coastal town that is this like high trade area, right? Like everything moves through here into the continent, especially on the west coast of the continent. The mountains are to the east to block the sun in a more predictable manner, because this town, this city, it doesn't really come alive until at night. And the people that have been running this fort have been running it for a long time. But people like them. They keep things stable. Apparently, these folks are really good at working with the various factions. They demand a lot of respect. They just prefer to operate in the evening. It's so hot during the day, and apparently that's a real thing. Ali backed me up on this. So the desert heat wanes, the cool breeze comes in from the Twilight Bay, and Night Harbor comes alive. Now, it may be that we're putting a little Mayong in our Freeport / Tijuana, but it seems fun, right? I mean, if you're someone that's been around for a very long time and wanted to manipulate things, I think having a tight grip on trade and transportation is probably a good place to start. But that's the initial fun little, that's the idea. It's like maybe that works. Maybe that's fun. Unbegriff. Cool, man. What are you hacking on? So there were some questions earlier that Ollie could answer that I didn't want to speak to. If you have more questions about like how we're approaching networking, etc., now would be the better time to ask them. Unbegriff says a Wayland tiling WM called Sway for my Raspberry tablet. I'm just gonna nod. I don't think I fully understand, but I'm too self-conscious to admit it. I'm just gonna go, oh, are you winning? Are you winning, son? FC7? Good to see you. Did you get my response? You sent me a message here, and it's not the best system, so I missed it, but I did respond to you. Smile and nod is one of my best skills, absolutely. Except I'm really bad at smiling, but I'm decent at nodding. I guess it's not my best skill, it's just something I use a lot. Cool. So, hey, Mr. Robot, you said you worked on Legacy of Akesha. Were you involved in designing the zones or just character models? I was involved with the team on a little bit of all of it. Yep. And I was a bit passionate about that one because I just, if I remember it correctly, I could be wrong, but I remember when we had to figure out like a small number of zones to try to make feel like a complete story. I looked at the cloth map, like looked at the map. Let's see if we can bring up the old map. So I looked at it, and when we were talking about the themes and stuff like that, it was like, all right, if we had to do a small area that really hasn't been discussed or expanded upon very much in the game, what about this? Broken Skull Rock. So it's one thing to do like 4 or 5 random zones. It's another thing to go, you know what, we could actually, it's essentially, the idea was like, all right, so how do we make something that feels as contiguous and complete as Kunark or Velius in 4 months with far fewer zones, right? And I think at the time, I could have sworn that the environment lead, Dave Nevela, was like, you get 4 zones, basically. Right? Because isn't it 5 zones? Whatever it was, he said you get X number of zones. And then we started talking about this pirate ship thing. And he got so amped on the idea of building a pirate ship that he came back and was like, I want to make essentially Hate's Fury. Like, I want to make it so bad. And it's funny because every time we talked about doing like something similar, split level, we had so many problems with the Z-axis and spells and shit. Remember, I think they eventually fixed it, but like you could be 1,000 feet up, cast something, and it was infinite Z, and you would aggro everything. So I was like, Dave, how are we gonna deal with the Z? And he's like, I'll figure it out. I want to make this ship so bad. And so, yeah, like a lot of that was just so much quick brainstorm. And the lava bridge, I forget what it eventually looked like, but like there were quick sketches of like 8 different versions of what that could be. It was like, wanted something that just felt like, you know, traversing in a sketchy way over lava. Did it wind up being little like rock islands that were levitating? Or was that one of the sketches and that didn't happen? I guess I could look it up. Excuse me. Org mine. Um. Hey, what's up, Brent? Yeah, that's why towers weren't really stacked whenever you could avoid it. So you had to fake it. I don't remember the any rig event. Oh, fun story here. We did a lot of this type of art because there was an artist on the web team that would do paint overs really quickly. So this is an actual screenshot. We would just take like actual screenshots, position a camera somewhere cool. And then I think in this one he may have cut up a couple different screenshots to do it. But it was just like we had like no marketing budget. So it was shit like that we would do to be able to try to get something up on the web that looked cool. I don't see the bridge. I know there's screens of the bridge somewhere. Here, I'll just do this. Oh, cool. Wallpaper. All right, so it wound up being, was the final product like that rope bridge? Bubonic said, does anybody remember a GM event where UD pirate ship attacked and one of the NPC or NPS controlled by GM, if I remember correctly? No, I don't remember. I do not remember that one. Was I there for the earring of sad exploitation item conversation over the Eldon boss killing thing? I think Bubonic's right. I think, wasn't that Teru? Or no? And I'm sure I was there for it and probably laughed a lot. The lava bridge scared you. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Yep. So I remember when that was first like sketched, just like on paper real quick. What about this? I was like, perfect. So I was like, what if it's just like levitating rock? And it's like, but why is it levitating? I don't care. Magic. It's just magic. That was such a fun answer for things. But why is it levitating? Because it looks badass. That's like my logic on stuff. Like, why is this way? Because it's freaking cool. Imagine. And we'd have these conversations. It'd be like, Dave, imagine. Okay, imagine you come in here and you see this crazy thing and it's super sketchy. And it's just lava down there and they're like levitating. It's like magic and you're going into this cathedral. How badass is that? What? Are you not going to be pumped on that? So yeah, I mean, if you were to actually like, here to dig into sort of internal consistency or derivativeness or whatever of any of the stuff that I put forward, I'm sure not often not great, but dude, always try to have some oomph. Redunk, thank you for the follow. Teru gave ancient true north. Cool, man. All right. Let me go in and we'll remove this. We don't want an entrance here. So the way I've been doing this may not be the best way. Those of you with some art and or other experience, Like I'll tend to come in as something like this and I just delete it. And I do that by deleting faces. No idea if that's the way I'm supposed to be doing it. I get it out of there. Oh. Oh. I deselect. Thank you. And we'll just delete more. Cool deal. Delete your faces. And Ali, are you still around? Do you want to? You mentioned doing a thing this evening. Did you want to? Oh, you're coding away. All right. You know what? Don't stop. Don't even. I didn't even start to ask you a question. Just focus on coding. Just code. Is my voice soothing and helping you code? Do you need me to read you anything? Just code. Please. Okay. For now, just know that we're all we're all here supporting you in your coding. Code is the big. That's a big curiosity for me. I'm like, looking forward to logging in more, playing. Well, I'm actually looking forward to creating some content, taking this nice little mess that I've created here. Oh, that's weird. Why did I do that? No. Crazy. That's not what we want. That's pretty janky. I know. I'm sorry. We'll fix that later. We'll fix it in post. Perfect. It sounds like we've got a lot of good stuff going on then, Nick. You got idea vomit going on? That's a beautiful picture. Read stuff later and be like, these ideas are vomit. How dare you? I'm kidding. What is going on here? Should I get rid of these? All of this looks, it's just janky. It needs to go. We'll replace it with something better. What are you vomiting about, Nick? Tell us about your vomit. Unless too soon. Boom. That's better to me. I don't like this area either. What is this garbage? We'll clean that up too. Is there I've got a shift click for multiple modes. Control click expands contract. I'm just, how do I switch between these without actually having to reach up there each time? The last 24 hours, all kinds of fun stuff, from combat details to some interesting systems. Stuff I might not want to spoil yet. Fair enough. Gotta run it by you. Okay. Goes back to legacy items, corrupted items, artifacts. Nice. I know the stuff we were talking about earlier on that front. Good. I dig it. Oops. I'm craving something like that right now, like cookies or something. Yeah, cookies. Again, with the weird craving. Yeah, it's weird. Maybe I'll just eat some yogurt before bed. Not quite the same. Oh, all right. That was bugging me. In 2020, organizations are formed and operated over Twitch. Truly the future. Yeah, it's funny. We've been talking about that a lot. And I've been talking to other people, like industry people and stuff like that. It's a very interesting time in that regard. Not only are we attempting to like form an organization. Well, I mean, we're formed a project, so, and then we'll use that as a basis for potentially continuing on to be an organization. But we're also doing it in a pretty visible manner, right? Which is pretty crazy. Like, how dare I be talking about all this stuff? These are our secrets. You're gonna steal the sauce. Fly on the wall. You guys are more than flies. You're a massive help. But what I consider this is we're essentially doing, like, everybody talks about, like, you know, you be as fast as possible so that you can get in front of your users, your audience, you know, as quickly as possible and get feedback. We're just doing it from the very, very beginning. I know some other, I mean, in this category, there are other indie games doing that. Think said, I thought a lot about something similar in the past. It's probably the best way of finding like-minded people who are enthusiastic about a common goal. Yeah, it's kind of what's happened here, right? Thanks. Shaka, I have not seen Handmade Hero. I don't believe. I'll have to write it down. Actually, let me just bring it up on my phone now so that when next time I'm on my phone with YouTube, I can, Handmade Hero. Oh, rad. Cool. Our Dunk, thank you so much for the Prime sub. I really appreciate that. That is, and it's actually a help. All of the money that I get from Twitch, bits, subs, Prime subs, etc. That's all going into concept art and stuff that we're seeing right now. So I appreciate it, Ardon. Came for EQ Planetside info, stayed for making MMOs, who know? Yeah, it's a weird thing, right, Nick? And so, and then from Nick, funny, it's like Nick, then I meet Secrets, and that's awesome. And then I think through Secrets, that's how I meet Ali, and that's awesome. It's so cool. Shaka said, too long didn't read, is he's making a game from scratch with 0 libraries. He's several years in. They get distracted a lot. I can imagine. Bubonic, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Badass. I have to see what he gets distracted by. Is it a full-time gig? Handmade Hero is very programmer focused, but it's been fascinating to watch. He's way more opinionated, less chill, but it's great. Look at how one guy does game programming. Oh, cool. Thanks, OJ. And Dunk said, "You're welcome. Used to play a ton of EQ back in the day. Cool to hear you talk about it." Oh, I appreciate it. You have seen the VODs, right? Did you comment on that earlier? For those of you that are maybe new here and you have not seen the VODs, we are now up to like 37 hours of guest appearances talking about the good old days of EverQuest and why certain things are the way they are. They're all there in a collection. And I tried to edit out my blabbing and just have it be, well, not my blabbing at the beginning and the end. I'm blabbing throughout, of course. Yeah, so you can check them out there. If you watch the VODs on Twitch, you can see the actual chat and stuff, which is really cool for context. If you want to listen on the go, you can listen to them on Spotify. So Brent's been, like I mentioned earlier, massive influence and help on getting that stuff up on Spotify. So yeah. And it's also on YouTube. Sorry, got distracted by question. Bubonic asks, when you're first building a game, is it more important to build a level from the ground up and then add character in and work on functionality and such, or reverse that? Yeah, Nick, you also hooked me up with Joppa, which is another amazing opportunity. So look at you, Nick. Meow said, Bubonic, we're not one person team, so each of us is focusing on a different vertical. You mean in general, if someone is playing around with making their own just for fun? Yeah. Ali's point, I think, is fantastic there. In that case, just do whatever keeps you motivated. Bounce around. I think, so I've got experience from, like, you know, working on MMOs and stuff at various companies. But it's really interesting if you talk to folks from like the emulator community, you know, like Nick and Ali and a ton of other folks, Secrets, etc. That's a whole different set of experience that's really interesting for me to sort of tap into and see. And then I know, Ali, you've done a lot of game jams and stuff like that, so it's shorter time frames, more limited resources, and so that's also cool. So I think the insight there, you know, about what it takes to, yeah, be fast, stay motivated, be more of a generalist. I think there's some good stuff there that we'll probably get into more as we go. Because you got to realize, like, in my roles over the last 10 years, I've been a producer, so I'm mainly just working with a lot of talented and smart people and trying to find ways to move that process along and facilitate their efforts. But like, I don't do a ton of work, you know. They let me play amateur game designer again every once in a while, but I haven't been a game designer for 9 years, 10 years, 9 years. I'd like to think that I'm like I'm not a great game designer, but I'm good at working with people and I'm good at identifying good people to work with, if that makes sense. It doesn't sound too egotistical. Um yeah, and so like the stuff that Nick's been doing has just been massive. In that like we'll have these conversations and then he's just really great at finding a nice concise way to articulate that and record it and then, you know, prompting the next bit of discussion on it. And you're a good designer. Don't go for perfect. Ship it even if it isn't perfect. What would you say? What would you say you do here? I'm good with people. someone had commented, like they were making a little bit of a snarky comment when Nick had posted about Jen when she was coming to when Jin Chan was coming onto the stream, and someone made some snarky comment, and it was like it said something about middle management, and I had to post in there, I'm good with people. This advice is for solo dev Sean. Is there supposed to be a comment in there, or are you or is that like a noun? Solo dev Sean. So in the future when I'm doing this all by myself, because you're like, screw this guy, I'm not helping him anymore. Rounded too much? No. All right, so cool. Now when I look at this, it still doesn't have the effect that I think we're going for. I feel like this is still too big, but we can take a look at it. I kind of feel like we need to go ahead and just sub in the rest of the land here so that we've got this section right here sort of in mind as well. And Bubonic, I'm glad that helped. Yeah, for me, I feel like I have to sort of commit through to a certain point. Otherwise, you know what I mean? So like I wasn't super happy with this. And this is just like a little stub of map. But then as I started doing the stuff in Blender a little bit more, I was like, okay, well maybe that can help me just sort of keep an eye on things, even if this gets thrown away or no one likes it or it's just goofy or whatever. But it then allowed me to sort of keep something in mind. So I was like, okay, well then I keep driving forward on this, even though I just wanted to kind of toss it. Same thing here, where it was like I saw the sort of building the problem was with the map too is I built that aqueduct because I had this whole story in my mind of like sneaking up through the tunnel across the aqueduct into the town. But the more I looked at it, I was like, I'm trying to force a town into the wrong spot because of this freaking aqueduct idea. Just get rid of it. Just kill it. And so I woke up and was just like, let me hop in here real quick and just kill that real quick. Boom. And then it's like, all right, well now I'm having trouble figuring out like what to do here. And then the whole oasis thing kind of came to. All right. Brent, are you referring to this thing on the screen yet? But it's funny, there's let me image. There's so many like cool environment art references. This place is pretty cool. Good at night. Little oasis. We won't go that crazy. I thought these were pretty cool too. futuristic. This will be somewhere else, like sand knolls. How pretty are these? But yeah, so this dark rock sort of backdrop was like, all right, so this kind of makes sense then, what we're doing here. That kind of feels nice. Okay, I can picture that. And then it was like, the one with the little offices or whatever. Yeah, those are pretty cool. But yeah, and then what I really liked was just seeing this in the foreground here. It may be a little dark on your screen, brighter here, but just this little bit, because I've seen those rock textures and stuff around, and I like that sort of. It gave me ideas for like, oh, if we actually want to put some effort into like, you know, adding additional materials to kind of give it a little bit additional fidelity, then cool, we have some ideas here. So yeah, we can go here. That going a little bit there. No, I had it. It was perfect. Cool. That works. Too symmetrical, yes. So we can, even without changing the modeling, I guess, break that up a little bit. All right. Now that's a little less cool. Nice dunes blowing up there. No. We'll just go across here. All the lines up. We'll fix it up later. Make it a little less symmetrical feeling. But I'll come in. Maybe over coffee or whatever. Poke around at that. Cool. All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this final piece of land here. Sweep this out, and then from there it can be a little bit of like detail work. We can define the edges of the harbor area, town, etc. Then kind of wiggle things around. Cool. Yeah, how do we want to do it though? The mirroring was pretty cool with the object last time, but I think it's overkill for this now. Maybe. All right. What happened? This is a big ass object now, so I think that's too much. But I guess we could just do it with, like, we could do like a box select or something here. Come in here. We know we're going to want this. That. And then what? Is there a way to duplicate like this? I'll watch chat for any hints or answers. Duplicate mesh. Now we're going to keep it on y-axis. We may not even have to do the fancy scaling thing or whatever, but I guess we could try it. Let's try this again. So then scale, y-axis. Is that what we did last time? Yeah. And control, get it snap to 1. Done. Then we just go back in. Missed some faces, but we can replace the faces, I guess. Ali, are you about to type what I should have done instead? Tax said, if you guys ever need the assistance of an amateur Python dev with an EQ/old school MMO obsession, feel free to holler at me. Appreciate the offer. Keep hanging out. We'll see what happens. We got a lot of road ahead of us. Face. Need to replace some face. And I really do appreciate you guys hanging out while we do this. Fantastic. Cannot wait till we get the move done. Get set up in the new apartment. Get everything nice and good to go. Make some little improvements here and there on the stream. Keep plowing away at this thing. Can't wait till we're in here running around as little capsule people. We may even have an opportunity for some of y'all to pop in and run around as capsule people with us, attacking little capsule monsters. Capsule days are the most fun. Yeah. Seems like a lot of these, all this feels a little janky. I guess in theory I could just build this. I mean, that'd be one way to do it. Oh, that'd take forever. But I'd probably enjoy it. So we'll fix that later. Here. And then what was it? Scale it on the Z. So is that how we flattened it before? Yeah, basically. Cool. And some of this we might even just start to look at getting rid of or bring it down, get it under the water level. There we go. Oops. All right. And at some point, then we need to actually extrude out / define a city wall. Ali, Nick, anyone thoughts on what we want to do here? I mean, I can do something real simple, real quick, and just kind of go here. Haven't really been thinking about city at all. So aside from something like extrude the up a bit. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Oh, that's a bit too big of a wall. That's too imposing. Do a moat? Penleo? A moat. Interesting. Like an ocean moat? Epic waterfall going down into the ocean near the harbor? Is that me just being lazy? Moat in the desert seems like nothing you've seen before, but it's along the smart defensive move. I don't know that these guys are that worried about it, but we'll have to put some thought into it. For now, we'll just pretend like it's a moat. And then I'll think about that one. What's the threat to the city town? There's not a lot of threat in this specific area that they can't handle, I don't think. Have to pull some concept and stuff together for what this, some reference images for what this particular area is supposed to look like. Then again, we could back this up, right? Not allow some more room. So if we had a waterfall, fresh water coming out of the mountain down here, and again, kind of pouring into the ocean here, and the wall was back a good bit for the harbor. Maybe it's a nice area where people that are coming to visit that set up camp. Because I'm picturing like a lot of bazaar type area. You know, when you look at the like little lean-to tents that you see at the gypsy camps, like in Karana, or you see out there, what's his name, the gnome in which report is it? Is he in East or West report? Yeah, Ping Fizzle Cutter. You know how they've got like this little puzzle cutter. Good point. They have like the little lean-to things. Here, let's take a look at it. See if we can get the lantern. Watch your ears when we go into here. I think it defaults the music on and it's kind of loud. Watch your ears. What's that? Okay. I think it'll be fine. I'll mute it if the apple shredding gets too loud. So like the little tent setups and these little lean-tos. So imagine like an expansive area of stuff like this. I could probably make this object pretty. I could probably make similar objects to this in the next couple of days to help a little bit with the visualization. So yeah, so basically like tents and stuff like that. In theory, we could even put a wall that comes out here and then have like water coming through here and a start of like people gathering up, travelers on their way out, way in. So like wall. Yeah. Play around with it. I'll have to sit down and do some sketches, little pencil and paper tomorrow. For now, I guess we can do some welding. Oops, that's what she meant by shredding. I was like, what does she mean by shredding? I forgot she had like this. She's got this like little. You can put apple in it and just pull this like rope crank thing, and it just rips apples apart. It is Monday. This week is gonna fly by, I think. And then, so we've got the discussion on. Oh, that's a weird one. I clicked some weird stuff. So we've got a discussion on Thursday with the Defend the Night crew. That'll be fun. So they are our next guest. Then I will not be streaming. Ooh, will not be streaming Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Think then may also be Monday. So because we're flying to Germany to go look at apartments, and so that's gonna take a few days. Remedy, thank you for the follow. Looking at some of the materials and stuff, definitely. Oh, fucking is hard. Definitely made me want to like maybe buy a Wacom at some point. And maybe sketch a little bit. It's been a while since I did any sort of actual art of that sort. I guess I could merge this. Gonna get wonky. Swanee said, haven't been in here in a while. Are you building Skyfire and Blender? Not exactly. So I am currently working on a essentially a little placeholder zone for the prototype that we're working on. Wanted to do something that had like a bit of a North Row, Oasis, Freeport kind of feel to it. And that's what's been moving us along here. How you been, Swanee? Oh, thank you. Oh, nice gap there. What's going on here? we are currently working in Unity. So essentially you can see a earlier version. I just grabbed a quick mesh and threw it in here. Like this morning? Maybe? Yesterday? Was it yesterday? So that we're able to kind of come in and get a feel for like scale and what things look like. What is this project for? So we're doing a proof of concept for, as you can see, with the wonderful homage to old school late 90s, early 2000s classic MMORPGs. So taking a lot of inspiration from that period. Yeah, so Ali and Nick put the torches and all the tweaks and stuff to them together. And Ali created this interior scene, was the first thing we ran around on. So created this interior for us to kind of just play around with, like, you know, mood and lighting. And this is not absolutely not how it's gonna work. Don't worry. So imagine there's a zone line. Boom. Zone line. All right. Boop. All right. So yeah, this is the untextured, just quick sort of yanked it in there version of the thing that you're just looking at for us to get a little bit of feel. So I'll have to get with Ali and figure out the best way to actually import the asset I'm working on in Blender in a legit way. So it looks a little bit prettier. Yeah. So here we go, guys. Can you picture it? I can picture it. Bonnie said, I've never used Unity, guessing you can build everything in it, spells, weapons, etc. I guess yes and no. I think and Ollie's, if he's not busy coding, can speak more to this. I think it will provide us a basis for certain things, but then a lot of it's going to be like building a database, network solution, other stuff from scratch, sounds like. I will tell you though, it feels pretty cool to look and see that torch off in the distance and seeing its structure. So maybe what I do is I stub in a little something for the wall as like a placeholder, but then we use some of these Ali assets to start to step into town. And I know, Ali, you're talking about wanting to build some structures and stuff as well. So what I can also do is switch over and start to build some placeholder like prompts. It feels so nice. Can you imagine there's others of us capsules running around here? We've done some little play tests where there's like several of us in here running around as little capsules. So it'd be nice to do it in what feels to be a zone. Have some little capsule monsters once we have combat. Yeah. Funny said, looks neat. Building stuff interests me more than playing. Oh, I could do that. See that. Couldn't go one day without somebody griefing either, right? Yeah, the second we had multiple like people logging in, pretty sure it was Nick who was the first person that started griefing because the capsules have collision. So naturally we had people blocking doorways and stuff. Good wholesome MMO fun. They're still not there. All right, I don't care. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's weird, but we'll live. Remedy said, always nice to see the creative thinking process. At a minimum, you'll see what appears to be a creative thinking process here. Now, if we can actually execute on that and deliver something cool, it's awesome. There's got to be a key to switch between those. I'm having to click up there way too much. Seems like a waste of time. Hold on once. There we go. So said there better be a dedicated zone way down the road to praise this first zone attempt. An homage to the initial effort. I think that'd be fair. Swanee asked, what type of database would you use for something like this? Something like Postgres? I honestly don't know. But I keep seeing. Oh wait, it may be too late. Ollie may have gone to bed. Well, I don't believe that, but if you don't get an answer tonight, pop back by and we'll get you an answer. Kind of weird that I'm doing this now that I think about it, because I distinctly remember times when I'd be working on something, like on EQ, and I'd go over to talk to like Dave or somebody that was doing like zone art. We'd be sitting there talking, or maybe I was just taking a break, eating something, getting a drink or something. And I'd sit there and watch them just sort of click and build, and I was just like, that was super relaxing just to sit and watch. So, yeah, maybe that's a thing for you as well. That'd be cool. Yep. I think I'll leave that as is for now. So decent work today. Glad that I'm getting to touch on some of my passions and creative side with this one. Oh, thanks, Nick. Yeah, it feels good. Learning a bit. It's a nice outlet, fun. And then the other, like the writing and other stuff that we're doing is a lot of fun as well. But weren't we all listening to like a podcast instead? Artists? Fairly often, but yeah. I don't like how skinny that ridge feels. That feels, but I don't think a player will ever see it. So that may be something I fix at some point. Did I ever fix this? going on here? Oh, I see what's going on. Triangulate faces. Now I feel a little bit better. Is an old right and the end of its bridged life. What is the... What are you citing? If it's an actual quote, I won't know it. I'm very, very, very bad at recognizing quotes. Is an old ridge and the end of its bridged life. I don't. You know that, what is it, the subreddit, whoosh? That's me all the time. You're referring to its skinniness. I'll have to look at the tools in Unity, Rekka, but I'm really shooting for the super sort of blocky old EverQuest low poly look. So if they can replicate that in engine easier and it's a better workflow, then I'm definitely down. Blender's cool though for, I guess, making objects and stuff. But I don't really have a horse in the race with regards to what I'm working on. I think navigating and stuff would be a hell of a lot easier in Unity. It just feels more natural to me. Been messing with Unity past few weeks, finally learning it, he said. Right on. And Sikosh said, last time I tried Unity Terrain, it was still not good for super low poly look. There were some good assets for it, but they cost money. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna cobble together the assets that we need in Blender, because most of that stuff's easier than some of the things I've been trying to do already. So the materials form will be interesting. Trying to get, I think we'll be able to pull some reference in and do. Cool. I cannot wait to just add a little bit more to this, play around with it, get some dunes going over here. And then try importing it again and looking around. Rekka asked, were EQ zones just a single mesh like this, including trees and such? would simplify collision detection and passing alive. So, we were just asking about that, and I could have sworn that Nick or Ali had some feedback on this. For the most part, I could have sworn most things were sort of baked into the zone, and then there were maybe something loaded. No, I thought most of it was baked into the zone. Just one big mesh. So that's my belief. Guess this. Yeah, maybe tomorrow I'll try my luck at some prompts. So I'm curious. Of the folks here, how many folks should I? Is this good? Should I continue doing this? I want to get some more EQ time in as well. Mix it up a little bit, play a little EverQuest, come back, do this. But I think we'll probably see, given that so many of you are hanging out and interested, it seems like, in this, we can continue to do some stuff here until we hit like a spot where maybe nothing new's going on too much. But yeah. Gosh, a few people have mentioned checking out Pro Builder and Unity, so I definitely want to check that out as well. And then OJ said, I'm curious about the interactive parts, doors, colors and lift buttons, especially how you handle those workflows and project in whenever that starts. Oh yeah, that'll be interesting. I've got the feeling it'll be way easier to, I think, implement and maintain than the way it was in old EverQuest. Just the modern tech is so much better. Rekka said, looks like you have a nice play space to work with already for testing combat. Correct. What are we trying to suss out from this phase of zone design? I just wanted to keep plucking around. I mean, in theory, we don't need very much, right? But I wanted something that had like a nice feel for traversal as well and scale. Hey, Ali. Welcome back. We were talking about you a bunch. A lot of questions about network and database and all of that. So those of you that were asking questions earlier, got about 15 more minutes. And so if you want to ask while Ollie's here, excuse me, we can get you some actual answers. So the most recent question was, what are we trying to figure out with regards to zone design at this point? I guess meaning like, hey, we have a lot of zone now. What do we want to do with it? And I was just saying that I'm just kind of enjoying myself, to be honest. But now this also gives us a decent enough play space that when we do come in and we can get some architectural geo and stuff like that in, we have enough space to also just create like a bit of a sense of exploration and scale. Allows us to probably even mess around with things like traversal speed and But honestly, I'm just goofing and having fun. Even as we're working through the actual technical implementation details, etc., to me, it's really important that this produces a certain feel from the onset. Like, so if we prototype and it's always, if it's too constrained, if it's only a couple of actors, or so we've got a, you know, even if we've got like the multiplayer thing going on and we're working on things like combat, etc. But yeah, I've been looking at, I think there is like a modifier or whatever to do that. I've been going in and just kind of playing with it by hand. So all of this is the stuff that I copied over today, so it's completely flat. So I'll go in and play around with like setting up some dunes and stuff. So you'll see it a little bit more over here. But like I like to come down at sort of the eye level and get a feel for what could be seen from what angle. Right. So and see if there's certain reveals, or if there's like, because like here, right? There was a dune. This dune right here extended over and you couldn't see that. And for me, it just felt like one of those things where rather than have it be a sort of a reveal of like, oh, I went over a dune and I looked down, oh, well, there's this thing. I wanted to just play around with it in here as kind of like a point of interest that actually pulls you. Are we planning for free space? Yeah, a lot of negative space. You'll be shocked. We've talked about like even like objects and stuff, keeping it more like original EQ in terms of object density for a number of reasons. One, just to create that effect. Two, it's less work. Yeah. So I'm less worried about this seeming like an authentic, you know, beach or desert or oasis or whatever because of all the wonderful objects in it. I'd rather have it feel a lot like this with a little bit of like objects, but then have like the proper silhouette. Like that silhouette to me is, I don't like it, right? Like I gotta fix that peak. But have the right shape language in place, have the right, you know, color language in place, have a lot of, so it's what I wanted like here, and you kind of see it is, if you're in this corner and you're looking, it just feels like there's distance, right? And then you come around here, and I'd want to make it so that you can kind of know that there's a beach way around here as well. So there may be some flattening that needs to happen and something to kind of pull you around. But now look at that, right? Like, so if that is a waterfall, so it makes it feel a little less just desert and more sort of like my favorite vacation, Volcano Bay, Cabana Bay, Volcano, whatever. Anyways, Universal water park. You can get drunk and go on the lazy river. So you're sold even with dwarves and dragons and elves and shit. Cool. But it's like try to have some like, you know, nice points of interest in the distance. Like, and so anyways, the original part of this ramble was focused on, since we're making an MMO, I'd rather have, even in the initial playtest, the sooner you see a bunch of little capsules walking around that are things that are wandering around wanting to fight you and vice versa, like, the better. So imagine mob capsules moving around now. You got this shit in the distance. We got a skybox going, right? We get some objects in here, but yeah, it's not cluttered. You see the harbor in the distance. We've got some walls. You know, there's a town there. We've got some tents set up. Not a lot, just enough to get the effect. And then the other thing that's just important to me, at least, is hook. Like, what's up with this door? Where does it go? Right? Like, is it something you can go into already? We know that this is taking you somewhere. Want to do the last 8 minutes of new asset process? Yeah, let's do it. My contacts are pretty dry. It's almost 11 o'clock, so I'm almost done here. But it'd be good to get that process knocked. So what do we need to do here? I've hit save. Sharing your screen in Discord. Cool. You can be on voice. Do you want me to put you on, put your video or your screen on my screen? We'll pause the music. Yeah. All right. We can try to hook that up. Oh, you're in there now. My bad. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Cool. Can you hear Ali?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. My audio setup needed a bit of work, but I think it's all right.
Yeah. I can.
Cool. I don't know why I can hear myself, but that's okay.
You got the Twitch volume on?
No idea.
And
All good.
are you said you're doing video as well?
Yeah, my screen is shared on the on the phone call.
Okay. Cool. All right. So one sec. Like pop it out.
Cool. Is the frame rate laggy or is it all right?
Seems fine on my end.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I've been playing around with the new process to solve a lot of the issues that you've been having.
Okay.
Let me just get a camera going on. Basically, the issues of scale and feedback, right? So feedback takes time,
Hmm.
but as a process, what I've done is that's your player, and if you hit view, so I'm on a laptop, so I don't have numpad, but you can say you can hit numpad 0, or you can go to viewpoint camera, and you'll immediately get a view.
Okay.
I'd maybe hide this one, but yeah. So actually, what I can do is disable. How do I do that? I forgot how to do that. disable backface rendering. All right, anyways. So what I like to do first is to just create a very, very, very general layout of what I want, right? So I've had this idea with that desert inn for quite a few days,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd like to see it in reality.
Okay.
So we'll just very quickly space it out in game, right? So that we can get a scale of things. Do they work? Do they not work? Do they suck? And I need to get another job, stuff like that. But I've had this image in my mind, very roughly, with a kind of two mountains. They might be a bit too high, but that's okay. I'll take this one and just give it an edge loop and oops. What am I doing?
Did you say mountains?
Yes.
Okay.
Similar to what you've been doing.
All right.
And we kind of go,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of putting a basic block out in place. Not final by any means. By the way, you've been having issues with how far away you can see, right, with the camera.
I
If you
picked it. I set the end clip out a good bit in the view setting.
Okay, good. So I didn't notice that today, but I remember the other
Yeah.
day you were having. And then the sorry. Then the in we've been discussing. So I'll just make it a cube for now.
Okay.
But I was envisioning like a big inn, it's not anything tiny, it's a big inn. And being in the desert, naturally, it's a kind of like the Alibaba and the 40 Thieves.
Okay.
It is a hangout for evil faction,
Hmm.
bandits and ifrits and jinns and whatever else. That bigger. So one thing you do get with this is you can immediately go into camera mode, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Which is here, and you get a sense of scale. How big is this thing? So from human viewpoint, this is how big it is.
So
So
that's
now immediately
it's really big.
massive.
Massive.
Yeah,
Yes.
too high.
Sikosh said all the cool kids are at this inn. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So you basically, you can very easily kind of say, I want this to be bigger, I want this to be smaller. I don't like how big this is, or I really love how high this is,
Hmm.
which to me is kind of important. Let's see, whatever. Just a little bit of geometry so it doesn't look plain.
Right.
Um, but very, very rough, so I'm not spending any time on anything. Because what I'm trying to do is just put this all, we'll just adjust all the, adjust scale on all this. And then once you switch to Unity, ta-da, magic.
Oh wow.
See, no need to import. That's what I've been working on.
So wait. You're in Blender.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm gonna have so many questions tomorrow. My contacts are dried out. It's bedtime, but damn. Okay, wonderful. Look at that. Yeah, so things that I want to ask about is following up on this basically, getting a feel for how to use this workflow, and then also materials. I've got some more questions about like the issues I've had with like um
Mm,
just getting them to show up, but then I also want to pick your brain a little bit about the stuff that you're doing with the materials in Unity, right? It was in Unity where you
yeah,
were modifying it
yeah,
because it really looked good. Um, so and the idea for the end, talk about that more because I think architecturally, I mean that's such a there's so much just sort of interesting um, for me at least stylistically it'll be new, but there's so much interesting like reference there, and it can have such a cool feel while still kind
yeah,
of going in the direction that we've been talking about. But yeah, that's amazing. So I guess in theory, can we take the stuff that I've been working on and will it work with what we're doing here? Or
yep,
okay, so I don't have to
yes.
delete everything and start over.
No, 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 no.
Good.
It's just a different. So I'm not exporting into FBXs anymore. I've basically thrown the Blender file directly into the project
Nice.
and doing
And
it that way.
so essentially then is it the Blender files in the project, but is it just bridged? Is it just linked?
Yeah, I mean, if I change anything over here, so say, you know, oop, we'll just say put in a turret here,
Mm,
right? Very, very tall one
yes.
because it is Arabic architecture and they love tall stuff. So say I save that,
Yep.
give it a sec, and it's right there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. The only thing I've noticed now is some of my normals are inverted, which is yeah, this thing was inverted. I thought so. I thought I noticed something weird. Yep. And
Bootly said that looks so cool. Nick did the Nick face, and Sikaj says magic praises the sun.
praise the sun. Yep. So I
Badass.
had this idea where you'd walk into this little, kind of, you'd have a little cliff face here, and then you'd turn the corner and you'd have the sun right in your face, you know,
Hmm.
having all this, volumetric magic that we've got here in front of us.
Yeah. Were you on earlier when we were talking about the reason why this is on the West Coast and the mountains are to the back of everything?
No, I wasn't, but I feel like I would have liked that discussion.
Yeah. I'll catch you up on it. There's logic there, but essentially it goes along with what you're saying with the inn and stuff, right? It's
Mm,
unscrupulous folks, but it's the idea that these folks prefer the night, as we were discussing before.
mm,
Um, and so it's nice to have the sun sort of on the other side of the mountains as it's going towards sunset in the ocean.
mm.
Um, gives you that extra little bit of hint of what's going on when it's coming up in the morning when you're people that love the night.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I like that idea. I like it a lot.
Shields them a little bit as the sun comes up. Yeah. So badass. This is amazing. I can't wait to play around with this tomorrow. This is great.
It's good. Teach you the magic.
Yeah, it looks so. I mean, just the simple scene that you've set up, it looks so pretty already. So I think this, and then I was talking about doing some simple prompts. I went through the lantern viewer earlier, was just
Mm-hmm.
looking at some of the lean-to tents and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely want to pick your brain for reference on like cool tints and things that we can simply make in Blender
Mm-hmm.
that'll match the theme.
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely. I hope I don't mess up my my UV2. Do I even need it? I don't know. Probably because we're on Blender, we can get away with a lot of stuff. Yeah, cool. I mean, I like Blender, but obviously I don't like that. See how the shadows are like limited to how far? Like there's this radius around me where the shadow is visible.
Yeah. What's that about?
I don't know. I have to fix that. Probably some. It's probably optimizing for mobile phones or something.
Ugh.
We've only done indoor environments so far, so we haven't seen how this stuff behaves in
Can,
outdoor environments.
when do we want to set up a zone line so that we can stay true to the indoor outdoor?
Good question. I mean, there is something else we can do. I don't know if there's something really quickly I can do about this one. Probably something here. Shadowing, shadows. Ah, here we go. There we go. Look at that. Boom.
Nice. Oh, this is going to be so
That's,
great. So I've got the feeling, folks, that answers my question about should I play some EQ or be in Blender tomorrow evening. I think I'm going to be in Blender. I think we'll have some nice stuff to look at. I mean, Blender/Unity, I guess, really. That's
yeah, look,
amazing, dude.
you can like give yourself a lot more quality at the expense of. I don't know, actually, fall off. No, I don't like that. Yeah, but cool, right? You can do a lot of stuff. Like if you wanted to be a more fog, more volumetric, uh, or different colored volumetrics, you can like play around with all the. Make it look really foggy,
Mm-hmm.
or the other way, more clear.
It'd be nice to have that variety just based on kind of what's going on, right? Because it's,
Yeah,
some mornings
yeah.
you've got those foggy mornings,
Mm-hmm.
other days, not so much. Then also haze, or that feeling of heat and haze during the day once the
Mm.
fog's cut, but then it kind of gets replaced.
Mm-hmm. And it's nice as well that it's all procedural. So like, you can actually have a oh, wrong one. Can actually have a day-night cycle, right? So it can
Yeah.
go sunset and then it's night.
And the torches and the fire, the
Mm-hmm.
illumination,
Sunrise.
a little bit of ambient illumination as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
I had things way turned up way high, so that's why everything looks a bit hazy and
It's good. It's good. It's extra, extra
yeah, like so you can
enticing.
make it more of daytime, noon. Kind of the color it is right now, and I mean not right now, but during the day, super hot and super bright.
Exactly. Oh,
Yeah, and humid, so foggy as well.
fantastic.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it.
Oh, it's going to be so great. And so, guys, tomorrow we'll look at this, I guess. We'll look at the zone. I'll do some cleanup and stuff, and then get it prepped, learn how to do what Ollie's doing right now, and see if we can kind of look at our zone in this context. Run around.
All right. Anyways,
Badass.
late here, so I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, it's even later for you than it is me. I'm sitting here crying about needing to go to sleep. All right, I'm going to toggle you off then.
All right. See ya.
Cool, man. Thanks, Ollie.
No worries.
Wow. That's going to be fun. Torches are cheating the sun god. Must stay in darkness. Torches are going to be nice. See 'em in a distance. It'll be fun. All right, y'all. That is it for me this evening. I am going to go take my contacts out and catch up on some messages and get ready for bed. Those of you that are new, again, check it out. We have a lot of great VODs, tons of interviews with former EverQuest folks, people that have since gone on to work on all sorts of other cool games. Yeah, some of them are really, really interesting stories as well, like 38 Studio stuff. Check out like Travis McGeethy, Steve Denuser. I think they both speak on it. Folks working at Blizzard. Good stuff. Our Discord, if you want to hang out with us, talk shop, ask questions, meet people. Good things there. Those of you that missed earlier, we'll do like a little product review on the stuff that I ordered just as like the merch samples to let you know if you're streamers and you're thinking about using the stream crap, the Streamlabs like built-in merch store or whatever. Check and stuff to look at quality. Lost you there. What happened at the end? Oh, I moved away from the mic and I've got the gate too crazy. Yeah, sorry about that. So anyway, those of you that stream, I'll put in our Discord, we have a streamer thing, channel for like tools and advice and all that other stuff. I'll show you the stuff that I had made with the Streamlabs like merch store, and speak to the quality. I'm not 100% sold on it, so we'll put that out there. And then I think that covers everything we talked about today, right? A lot of game design discussion, a lot of MMO sort of dev discussion. So good stuff. If you missed it, came in late, check out the VOD. And yeah, I'm super sleepy. Eyes are dried up. I think that's it for me, y'all. Cool. See you guys tomorrow. It'll be really, really cool. Good night. Nice meeting a lot of you. New names. Sikaj, other folks. I swear, I don't recognize the name. If you've been here a bit, I apologize. But hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the primes. Bye-bye.